to 5. Y'all see how peppy my face is? This is called stress. It's called a pre-funeral stress. So all I did over the weekend was upload a Christmas Eve video just to try to do something fun. And to point out the positives that I had this weekend, because there were, I had a lifelong friend pass away. And I've got to deal with the funeral tomorrow. So I wanted to do a quick check-in just to let y'all know that I'm okay. Hello, ICU nurse. Hello, Southern Hail. That's what I'm going to call you from now on. I'm swollen, but like I've had like 2 days of tears. So, the grieving process, you just got to get through it. But I wanted to come on here because I've been just kind of gone all weekend, having my family in and then getting some bad news. So I wanted to jump on really quick because even in my absence, it seems like, after I did that video, after I had to delete the lovely live that was like an hour and a half, 2 hours long, I had to delete that lovely live and then come back and address some behaviors. I just have to pop on here really quick and just kind of address a few things. When I try to address things, I try to address behaviors. Because I'm a 43-year-old woman, and I know that to point out someone by name and to assign a behavior to only them when I'm seeing the behavior over an entire group of people is juvenile. That is trying to project, it's trying to create a personal issue. When there is no personal issue, there is like a hierarchy issue. And so I saw a lot of that going on this weekend, which is just not necessary. Nobody said a peep to me. I'm a leper. I guess I'm a leper. Am I a leper? I don't know. I guess I'm a leper. But it's just really important for me, especially since I've worked in the mental health field and I've worked in the corrections field and I've seen a lot of these negative behaviors. It's just really important for me to address them because I understand the root cause of the behavior. And I really feel that if somebody asks you to perhaps reevaluate yourself and let you know consistently that we're having repeated issues and they're all the same, they all look the same, sound the same, they just have a different victim, then maybe someone will realize that we have the same problem and we can work to stop the problem. But I will say, as somebody that is, I've been on YouTube for a while, but somebody that is new to what they want to make designated drama, which should not be designated drama. What subs need to realize is that, hi Net, if you go to a channel and they lay expectations upon you and place none upon themselves as creator, that's already a bad issue. Because even as a subscriber, when you go to that channel, there should be some consistencies that creator offers you. There should be some safeties that creator offers you. My subscribers are precious to me. Your time is, you can never get it back. So when you spend it with me, I appreciate it. I'm certainly not going to drag you through the mud. So when you go to a creator's YouTube page and they set out a line of expectations for you, but they offer no expectations upon themselves, that should be a red flag number one. When you go into a YouTube creator's channel and you see a hierarchy that is not built upon respect, but it's built upon a reward system, ooh, be careful. because that reward system that is not built on mutual respect and understanding people and people that are trying to be respectful and polite and subscribe to you and support you, but you base it on rewards as to who's doing the most for you at that moment, that's a very big imbalance. And for subscribers, that creates a roller coaster ride of emotions because they don't know where they stand with their creator. That's a red flag. When you go into a creator's page and they make you feel as a subscriber that you cannot do what they're doing, red flag. Anyone can create a YouTube page. Anyone can create a channel and can voice their opinion, can research things, can give educational videos. You, as a subscriber, are just as important as the creator. So there should not be like a dogma there. Hi, country. I look horrible. I look because it's been a wild weekend and I'm just tired. But I don't feel bad. I just look really jet lagged from all that I've been through this weekend. But when you go into, another red flag is when you go into channels and you watch creators and you see a cycle of behavior, a cycle of actions, that should be a red flag. That tells you that you're going to be on a cyclical ride with this creator, and eventually you're going to feel it. And you're going to either become irritated by it, they're going to become irritated because you're going to expect to not be on this cycle, or you're going to voice your concern about the cycle, and then that respect balance is thrown off. And so when you get into places and you feel like you're cycling, hi Sheila, with that creator, that's a red flag. That means that the creator is focused on something else other than input, output, and a relationship and dispersing information. When you go on to specific channels that say they're doing specific things and then do the opposite of those specific things, it's a red flag. So like with the true crime community that I've been really, really unhappy with, when you go into a community and they're like, we're going to fight negativity and these horrible, horrible people that create fear and emotional roller coasters, and we're going to fight this fear and this nasty evil in the world by projecting more onto our subs. Red flag. Because if you're wanting to fight evil and you're wanting to fight the things that are wrong, things that stand out in society as being immoral or unjust, and then what you seek to do internally is create an environment that is not compatible with your subs, or that targets your subs, or that creates the emotions that you say you're trying to diminish in the world. Red flag. Red flag. Subs, if you ever feel like a target, get out of there. Get out of there as quick as you can. If you have to address something, try to address actions rather than people. Because if they want it to be about them, they're going. I caught some of it, Priscilla, I did. If they want something that you say that you cast a wide net on and you're addressing behaviors or actions, if they want it to be about them, they will apply it to themselves and they will come at you. And that shows a very insecure human being. That shows someone that no matter what is being said, they're going to absorb it as if it is absolutely about them. So if I said, someone I know needs to dress up as the Jolly Green Giant for Halloween next year, and somebody jumps on here and goes, don't talk about me, then we know that that is someone that is going to absorb anything that is said and apply it to themselves. And that's a very unhealthy trait. I try to meet people where they are. I try to be nice to people. I try to float with the group. I try to be supportive. But after a baker's dozen being attacked somewhat, what I would call viciously over the internet, I just felt I needed to address the behaviors I was seeing. And if people want to take those behaviors and assign them to themselves, that's fine. There are some really great channels that are doing really great things, and there are some really horrible channels that are doing some really horrible things. Justin's blood sugar's back. I now that I've seen him so much, it's like I want to know what his blood sugar is. Anyway, but for me, I have my own list. I can't dictate your list. So I know in my head, I know who my list is, and I know that you know in your head, you know who your list is. And they're probably both very different, but we can apply what I'm saying to each, to each other's list. The application process is still the same. But if people want to take it personally, they're going to take it personally, and they're going to get into attack mode. I find it very juvenile when someone says, be better, do better, reevaluate your behaviors, reevaluate your actions, how you treat people, look at the energy you're creating, realize that people that come from different demographics have different dialects, different word meanings, different connotations to words. Be respectful, but also have a wide berth and be understanding, because most of the time what I have seen create horribly vicious attacks on here have been simple misunderstandings. I don't know if you all remember when I first got on here, and I first talked about the Summer Wells case, because it's like right in my backyard, just right down the road. Somebody had said that they had got a leak out of the DCS, and I said, whoa, that's illegal. We shouldn't be trying to prod information out of state employees. We shouldn't want to know specific health care information about children. That's a HIPAA violation. It's wrong. You shouldn't do that. And for most people, when you say you, it's an applied you, it means everyone, you all, the whole world, the universe, But, and I just kind of use it as everybody, I'm just casting a wide net. You, if it applies to you, apply. If it didn't, chuck it, And I think for 2 days, I didn't know what was going on, but I got treated like I got blasted on a channel. And because it was a misunderstanding, I immediately said, hey, you stood up for yourself. I'm not mad at you. We had a misunderstanding, but you stood up for yourself, so that's okay. You're going to need those claws in the YouTube world. Don't even apologize. Don't think nothing of it. I'm sorry for the misunderstanding, but I'm proud that you stood up for yourself. And I meant every word of that, because you have to be tough to be on this platform, because people are just vicious. And it was a horrible misunderstanding. Nobody tried to clarify anything. Nobody went on and addressed actions or behaviors. They just went and nailed right for names and people. And I was like, okay. I was like, well, it was a misunderstanding. I'm going to let that one go. Because anybody can have a misunderstanding. Anybody can be nervous when they start a platform and make a mistake. They can fall in with the wrong group. They can, anything can happen while you're learning this platform. So that's fine. I'm just, and I'm not like somebody that gets super like amped up about things anyway. So I was like, well, yes, you call me names, whatever. So I kind of let it go. And I still supported this person tremendously. And I still think that the chat community there is one of the best communities, because they're actually helping each other through a lot of trauma. But every time I speak about something that I see in the community, for some reason, it's always, I don't know, it's like it's always supposed to be about her. And I didn't even have her in my mind the other night when I made that video. And so I sit here and I think, okay, she's older than me. I originally would have placed her in the wiser than me category because of the age. And that's not a disrespect issue. Our elders come with wisdom. So, I thought, well, she's older than me. She should be wiser than me. Now, this has happened a few times. I've heard her repeatedly state she doesn't like drama, but if I get on here and address behaviors and actions, or somebody gets on here and addresses what happened to them, it's like, boom, there she is. Boom, there she is. And you just at that point, you just have to go, okay, is your motive truly what you state it is? Or are you falling into the negative behavior that you once were a victim of yourself? Because I don't want to, like, what I went through those couple of days there was misunderstanding, I didn't enjoy, and I don't want anyone else to have to go through it, so I don't perpetuate it. Like, I'm not going to apply it to someone else. And I'm certainly not going to pick on my subs, because you guys are the only reason I'm here. I love you guys. But it's like, if that was, and then there was this profound I'm so sorry time, and she's so great, and she talked me through the misunderstanding, and she's such this, she's the sweetest person ever, and I certainly don't need smoke blowing up my butt, but if that was her way of apologizing, that was fine. And but then just, to be part of this for long enough to hear repetitively, I don't like the drama, why do we have to have the drama, I don't like the drama. But the only time that I've seen drama is being created by this person that I've seen repeatedly not want drama. And so, I just wish things would calm down. I just wish people would let people be people. I'm going to address behaviors. I'm going to address actions. I'm going to address hierarchy of power on these YouTube pages. I'm going to address how to be, how to have expectations of yourself and of others, and how to allow your subs to have expectations of you. And I don't want people to attack. I want you all to go, I did not enjoy that. I'm not going to do that to you. So if that's what you want, I'm going to go here, and you can do that on your own. And that's kind of how I am. And so in the midst of this, it was like everybody, just like deflected off of me and attacked everyone else, because I don't play the game a lot. But it doesn't have to be this way. And I think that's the biggest thing that I need to point out, is that there doesn't have to be this tension and this animosity. There doesn't have to be a target on subscribers' backs. No one has to be in the guillotine this week for the week to go as planned. You're 62 and can still learn. Yeah, I'm learning every day. And I'm learning a lot about this YouTube, and a lot of the personalities that are drawn to it they're not personalities like mine. I have a corrections and education and psychology background, and to be quite honest, probably in the YouTube world, at least 40 to 60% of creators are quite narcissistic. And I would even go farther to subcategorize that even farther and say it's malignant narcissism, to where there is a malevolent need to create harm, either emotional or otherwise. And it is just a platform because it is so easily manipulated that people like that find it very easy to use. And so when I started noticing that, I was like, okay, well, the first video I did was to address Katie Noel's narcissistic behavior on social media, and how she was trying to pull apart fans from singers and songwriters. I'm going to learn how to knit this year. It's just going to happen. It's just going to happen. So that was like the very first thing I did, was like, okay, this is how this social media is being manipulated to affect people in a negative manner. And I got a lot of really good responses about it. I got a lot of responses from people that were fans of both social media stars, and they were like, "Yeah, we're sick of this too." And I was like, "Oh, good. I'm so glad someone else is sick of this." And because the thing is I can watch 5,000 videos, and if someone is saying horrible things, I don't like go, "That's about me." I don't. Even if it's someone I know and they're saying horrible things, it doesn't have to be about me. And I don't take it like, I don't take it like if they're saying something, I'm like, well, they've had a really rough week. Someone has been really, really horrible to them. And I'm like, I'm going to send them some good vibes. I'm going to send, but now that I'm on YouTube, I have to go, oh, they've had a really horrible week. Someone's been really mean to them. And then I have to add this. I hope they don't take it out on someone that doesn't deserve it. And for me to have to add that clause at the end is like, there's no reason as an adult you should have to put that clause at the end. Yeah, life is tough. Don't make it worse on people. Don't make it harder on people. You know, watch for the red flags on YouTube. Watch, you know, you should be able to like lay an expectation down, especially when you're seeing a lot of animosity between creators, and say, hey, I don't want to play in this game. Don't put me in this game. And that should be able to be respected, especially if you're just trying to do your thing and be your own person. But unfortunately, it's very difficult. It's very difficult for that to happen. But you know, I saw so much pain being caused, and I saw so much grief right before the holiday, and I saw so many people hurting that did not need to hurt, and I saw so many people misleading statements or suggesting things were said and amping up, you know, what didn't even need to be spoken about. And I just found it so disgusting that here was this group of adults that is working to help rid evil in the world by creating more evil in the world. And I was just like, this whole community at that time was like, it was just, you know, counterproductive to me, and I had to address it. And I tried to address it as the best I could, because I am somebody that feels emotions. I do feel emotions, and I do have emotions, and I do have days to where the emotions are more important than the lesson behind them. And that day, the emotion was more important for me, because people were really being hurt, and people were being hurt at a very tough time of the year. Holidays are horrible times for a lot of people. Holidays are tough for everybody. That is a super raw time for people emotionally, and then to latch on and create, you know, crap when it didn't need to be there. It just, you know, it was not pleasant to see. It was not pleasant to address at all. It was not pleasant at all to address, and I tried to address it as politely as I could. But there doesn't need to be, there doesn't need to be YouTube creators that target people and systematically take them out. Every 7 to 10 days, there's a new target on a new person. There's a new issue. There's a new drama, you know. And I was just sick of it. I was sick of waiting for us to deal with true crime. I was sick of waiting for us to try to dig into stuff and research. There was nothing going on. There was a lot of drama, and I thought, okay, well, we're all new. We've got to get settled, but we never got settled. And then 1 or 2 drama issues turned into 4 or 5, and then it turned into 8 or 10. And normally if I state something, it's because it's illegal or it violates state law, or because I want to explain the psychology behind it. And that's normally when I take something and turn it into a lesson. That's why I do it. But I just had to speak my piece the other night, because it was just what I was saying was disgusting. And there's so much room on this platform, it doesn't have to happen. Well, there's so much room, you know, there's so much room on this platform, it doesn't have to happen. There's no reason we have to be against each other when we're all working toward a common goal. There's no reason that in a community that there should be a need for a hierarchy of power to be established. And there certainly is not a need within the channels, the creators themselves, and their subs for there to be like a respect expectation that doesn't go both ways. Like I would never get up here and cuss one of y'all out or suggest that you all did something, you know, unbecoming or something like that, because it's just not. Number one, I'm not going to put us in a position to have that question, because I'm not going to ask you for money. I'm not going to ask you for support. I'm not going to ask you to pay my house payment. I'm not going to ask you to give me advice on my love life. I'm not, I'm just not going to ask you those things, because that's not, that's a personal issue. That's what goes between you and your friends on the telephone call. That doesn't go across YouTube and social media. So I'm not going to put myself in a huge twist to have a personal response. I'm going to try to be a little bit. I don't stay up late either, and I just had a really rough weekend. Like I've had a really rough weekend, so but I really hope it calms down. I really hope people sit down and think about what energy they are creating in the world. Because there certainly does not need to be negativity, and there doesn't have to be hate. There doesn't have to be a power struggle. There doesn't have to be, just check yourself. Check yourself. We're all old enough to know what that means. We're all old enough to know that if you didn't behave that way in kindergarten, you shouldn't behave that way now in life. We're all old enough to apply what we're learning. We're all old enough to understand that we need, there needs to be respect. We're all old enough to understand that attack mode is not something that needs to be used amongst adults who have social skills. It's just, we just don't need to do that. And I don't know, I just couldn't take the drama anymore. I couldn't like, when people are going on Discord talk about their plans for the next week, and then they're planning like mutual attacks on people, and are going to attack their name or their credibility, or going to threaten to dox them, or it's just, I'm sick of it. I mean, I'm sick of it. And I just said my piece and went on. But I do expect the few of y'all that hang with me to be aware of the energy you bring to YouTube, and try to bring positive energy, and try not to cross those lines and create those drama issues. And you can't be 100% not emotional. Like, there's no way. And so that bothered me really bad the other night. And I think that's the first time I really addressed something and been super emotional, because I was just sick of what I was saying. I was just sick of it. There should never be that. You should never go onto a social media platform. The first thing you feel is hate. That doesn't bode well for a nation. It doesn't bode well for a world. You should not go into where everybody shares their thoughts and desires and wishes and creativity and feel hate. And if you create a social media platform and the first thing you generate is hate, check yourself. Or if you feel hate from others and then you go on to create that hate over and over again, you should check yourself. There's, these behaviors come out for a reason. You project them for a reason. Just try to deal with it. I'm getting tired of Justin. Can somebody just block him? There ain't enough Vaseline in the world for trolls today. I'm sorry. There's ain't enough Vaseline in the world. No, Priscilla, you didn't bring me into it. But I understand you, because you're from Appalachia. And it's very difficult sometimes for people in Appalachia to mesh in other places, because we do have a different vocabulary. We do have a different way we present ourselves. We do have a different humor. And while I don't expect people to bow down and kiss my butt and say, you're from Appalachia, I must understand you, I do expect people that are adults to realize that there are regional, differences in nations and in the world, and that there does need to be a little bit of a squeeze on both sides to mesh. It can't just be expected from one side or expected from the other. We both have to work together. I don't lash out. Like when people lash out at me online, I don't lash out. I don't call them out. Pretty much what I do is I allow them to just generate whatever hate they need to generate, and just leave it there so that people can see a trace of their behavior. So if people see them constantly, trying to jerk people's chain or call people out or be disrespectful or call people names, then they'll know that that is that person's, MO. And they'll go, I'm going to avoid that person. So I just don't respond. I just kind of let them do their thing, and then it's there. And I don't care. So people, at least some people get a warning, that way. So if, and I don't mind to have a debate, but there's no debating personal issues. You can't debate personal issues when you create personal issues so you can have a personal attack. There is no way to debate a personal issue because it's personal. There's no winning. There's no correct side to choose. There's no winning. It's just personal. The only reason to generate that is because you need that energy. You need to create that. You need to release something within yourself, or you need to divert your attention because something else is going on inside of you. That's the only reason it occurs. And so, if someone is really struggling and attacking, I tend to feel sorry for them because I know something's going on inside. I know there's some kind of instability, there's an insecurity, there's something going on that is causing them to really cast a lot of self-judgment. When other people are not casting judgment, they're just addressing actions and behaviors, and that person is reaching and grabbing those and applying them in self-judgment and then yelling because she thinks you applied them. It's like, no. You grabbed that one out of the list I rambled off and you applied it. So when someone is doing that, I know there's something going on inside. And I worry about people when I see that. And you can see it all. You can see it on Twitter. You can see it on YouTube. You can see it on Rumble. You can see it on BitChute. You can see it on every platform they make. People will do that. And when people do that, is because there is something going on internally that they're not dealing with. And in order to not deal with it and to deflect, they're dealing with you. And so it's just very unhealthy, and I thought, I'm not going to play that game. So I don't normally get tangled up with it. If I have to say my piece, I say my piece and go on. But I certainly do not want people to keep having these encounters with these people. So like I've told you 10 bazillion times, never take up for me. Never get into a squabble about my name. If they don't have the common decency to bring it to me, then I don't care. It's a non-point, it doesn't exist. If it's not brought to me, it doesn't exist. So don't ever put yourself in harm's way to deal with anything like that. Don't put yourself in negative energy. Don't put yourself, don't unsub to channels because of me. You create your path and your friendships and your YouTube likes and dislikes list, and I'll create mine. And if we still meet together a few evenings a week to chat, I'm going to consider myself lucky that you spent time with me. And I'm certainly not going to care who else you spend time with because that is your choice. So that's just kind of how I am. I don't get, I'm not going to get jealous because you spend time with someone else. That's just, that's your person. Do your thing. Shannon, honey, it's fine. I'm not going to be on much longer. You have a good day. I won't be back probably till Wednesday or later, but I've got funeral and stuff to deal with. I'm just was really disenchanted by what I was seeing, and just stated how I felt. So if people want to grab that and pull it onto them, that's on them. It's a lot of projection, Twiggy. It is. It's the people that attack the hardest are the people that hurt inside the most. And that can be resolved, but for right now, the attacking is paying the emotional bills. It's getting them what they need, which is to take their mind off of it And so they continue to do it. And they don't understand, well, thank you, Denise. They don't understand that if they could just learn to have a 5-second delay, or learn to have a 5-minute sit down and thought process, learn to make a 10-minute list of pros and cons, learn to reevaluate a scenario just for a few minutes, then if they would not just react with such anger, if they could sit down and react with a little bit of understanding, or even a little bit of, curiosity. Any emotion's better than anger. Any emotion can lead to a resolution, but anger can't. And so if they could just resolve react in any other way, it would be, the world would open up for them, and they would not have to repetitively have these issues, because it can't be enjoyable, And, I looked at people when I was in counseling with them, and I'd be like, this can't be enjoyable for you. And they're like, it's not. It's horrible. And I'm like, then when you had the opportunity, and we've gone through the choices you have, and we've gone through the safeties you have, and we've gone through how to make your list of choices, and how to make your choice, and how to choose 2 other, forks in the road, and we've trained and we've practiced, and we've gone through, we've gone through these role play scenarios where you practice this skill. Why then, when you walk out that door, do you still choose to resort to the old behavior? And they're like, oh, I did, didn't I? Yeah, you did. Because you can't have a different perspective without, using that different behavior. But a lot of people get stuck in a rut, and however it works for them, it works for them, and until they get until it gets super unhealthy, or they get super unstable, or they get to a point where someone turns it on them. They meet someone that is able to turn it on them. A lot of people never understand what they're doing. They never understand. They will go years. In the U.S., the population of narcissistic people is about 25 to 30% of the population. So about 1 in 3, 1 in 4. And it's that high and it's climbing because of social media, because of the disconnect that people feel. Like, they feel that they can attack anybody because they're just somebody in this little box. They're not an actual person. So if you take away empathy and sympathy because you don't believe that's a real person, you've taken away the complete human component, and you can't react. Yeah, I don't expect anyone to defend me. I don't want you to have not even 1 second of hostility over me. It's not worth it. And most of the time when people want to be hateful to me, I'm just like, you got more time than me, because I got time. Yeah, Priscilla, that would be good. I don't have that much patience, but but anyway, I wanted to check in because I've had a really rough weekend. I don't want to get super emotional. It's been rough. This has been the roughest weekend of my life. It's just been. I had a great time. My kids ran. I got to spend time with everybody, and I love that. There were some great memories made this weekend. But I also had a lifelong friend pass away rather unexpectedly. We knew he'd been sick, but we were all not aware it was to the level it had gotten to, because he was a terribly private person. And matter of fact, the other night when I was ordering those groceries, I sent the wrong message to you, Priscilla, and I was like, sorry, I'm trying to order groceries. That's who I was ordering groceries for, because he didn't feel like going to the store. And so I just had them delivered. And it was shocking. He was basically an uncle to my kids. I'd known him since we were little. And so it's been a shocking week. And he doesn't have a lot of family left. So I've been trying to help coordinate with our graduating class, because he was so loved. I've been trying to coordinate so that everybody that wants to pay their respects knows how and when to do so. So tomorrow I will be at a funeral, and And then they're expecting really bad weather here Wednesday, so I don't know if I'll be on or off or what's going to happen. Because y'all know how my internet is. These electric poles fall. But it's been a rough weekend. And it made me, it kind of gave me a lot of clarity because, you know, life is short. I don't feel bad for saying anything I said the other night because what I said was heartfelt. And I really do believe that anybody that gets up and is breathing can change and become a better version of themselves. And I do believe that a lot of people don't understand what they cause, but you know, a lot of the hysteria they create, and I know that they don't always understand that they're doing it. And a lot of people just are not aware of the energy they bring and how they sometimes pinpoint inaccurately, but pinpoint people and have a bias. So, you know, people can change. It can always get better. You know, but you have to want to, and you have to want to learn, and you have to want to be a better version of yourself. But at the end of the day, you know, what I want is I want to be authentic. When you come spend time with me, I don't want you to leave and wonder what I'm going to start, what I'm going to kick up, who I'm going to cuss out, if I'm going to hate you the next time you log in. I don't want you to ever worry about that. And so when I see that generated on other pages, I'm like, you should love these people that come and spend time with you. Even if they have a different perspective from time to time, they give you their time. That's precious. So I needed to speak out about it. I would love to maybe be a little bit of a beacon to these people that are struggling and say, hey, if these are the skill sets you use to interact with people, it's only going to get worse. And it's not because of the people, you know, when there's 12 victims and 2 instigators, common denominator means it's, you know, if you two have had 6 victims, it's probably you two. You know, you have to start to understand to look the other way. If you've had repeated issues with disrespect on YouTube, look at why you're in the battles and if you chose to be there. Like the people that want to get on a fuss about, well, he stole my money. Well, don't send your money to strangers on freaking YouTube. You know. Or they get mad because you voice your opinion about something that they, you know, cast out on a public forum. Well, don't put it out on a public forum. Or like when I put up Tennessee state law and everybody got, you know, their panties in a wad about that. And I was like, I don't know why you have a problem with Tennessee state law. It's Tennessee state law. Like, how can you have a problem with the law? So, I just don't know. I try to sit back, especially if I have done something to make somebody feel hurt, or they have stated that I've done something to, you know, anger them. I try to sit back and go, what did I do? And at the end of the day, it's just YouTube. It's just YouTube. And you're going to run across people that just use it for the wrong reasons. And you're going to run across people that just aren't authentic. And you're going to run across people that just feel the need to manipulate. And you just have to learn how to screen those people out. And try as I might, I was trying to be a positive person and hoping that this community would wrap its head around what it was doing wrong so that it could revamp and do right. It just was not going to happen. So I just took my energy out and said I'm not going to be there anymore. Yeah, I don't watch a whole lot of channels, and if I try to support you, it's really a big deal because with my health and stuff, I don't have a lot of spare time and energy, and so, you know, to be blatantly disrespected by somebody that also wants my clicks and likes and time is just like, it doesn't make sense. No, I'm out. Peace. It's like, you know, having a really pretty horse that'll win you a first ribbon trophy, you know, in the ring, but will buck you off every time you get on a trail. No. I need consistency in my life. You know, I need consistency. I just want to know there's a calm somewhere. And if we have to have rough waters, then let's learn from it so that we don't have to tread those waters again. Because I don't like to backtrack in life, y'all. I just don't like to. I think you should be moving forward. And then if you constantly have to backtrack and go through something you should have learned from, then you have a problem. And you're not absorbing what the world and karma and other intelligent life forms are trying to help you absorb to move you forward, you know. And some people just really like to be stuck, you know, and that's why therapists make a killing. But you know, when you look at YouTube creators, they're just people. They're just people. They're not icons. They're not better than you. They're just people, just exactly like you. They have the same issues as you. They're just, you know, we're all dysfunctional on some level, and don't ever think that just because they're a YouTube creator, they're better than you. They were, you know, they just jumped on this platform, and you can too. But don't think that you have to sit through nastiness to support somebody, because you'll get sucked into it and you'll become part of it. And honey, it's hard to wash some stinks off. And one thing I have learned is, you pack of skunks turn their hind ends to me, I'm gonna go the other way. So raise your tail, I'm leaving. You know, I just don't want to be part of that. So that's the decision I made. And I know that people are pissed because they're taking it on people I care about, but what I would have to say is just don't respond. If they come and leave nasty messages, just let them leave messages. Let them leave the warnings, the paper trail for other people to see how they operate, so that other people may see it and go, okay, I'm going to be careful with that one. Don't respond, don't give me your energy, and just move forward and try to go on and, you know, just live your life. Certainly no one is going to dictate my world, so I'm a big old heifer. Ain't nobody going to dictate my world. But I just, you know, I'm not going to call anybody out. I'm not going to pick a fight. I'm not going to get into a verbal altercation. It's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. Do we have another troll? This is troll season. Denise, exactly. I'm too old for that too. I'm too old for that too. And my little spurt the other night was more about become better, do better, acknowledge what you're doing, sit back and think about it, and become better. You know, stop repeatedly making these same mistakes and then saying oops, because it's not an oops after you do it, you know, multiple times. It's a pattern. And acknowledge that you have a pattern of behavior that needs to change. And change it. Just be a good person. And it's just funny how they work, because, you know, be careful. Because even after I said you can send me nasty messages to my email if you have to send somebody a nasty message, nobody emailed me. Like, I fully anticipated at least getting one nasty message. Nobody emailed me. Nobody said anything nasty to me. Nothing. It was zoop. And it's because I won't give them the energy that they need to perpetuate the crap. So just, it works. Just don't give them the energy. Just don't even respond. If, you know, if they pop in on your lives, just let them leave their paper trail. Let them leave their behavior to warn other people, and just go on about your day. You know, because if nothing else, I'm going to at least allow you to see what you may be getting into, but I'm certainly not going to create a bigger issue to show you exactly how bad it can get. But I'm going to leave the paper trail so that you know what you're getting into. People talk about me all the time, I'm sure. it's just, I don't care. I don't know. Like, I'm extremely laid back, but it's because I've seen murderers and sex offenders, and I've seen, the parts of the world that a lot of people don't know exist, and I see the things you should be scared of, the things you should be, leery of, the things you should put your attention on. And so I don't, I'm not going to create something that's not going to go anywhere. Tell me one drama session from the true crime community that has benefited someone, propelled the community forward, solved a crime, done anything positive. Because if it ended in a negative, then that is not a positive. If it ended in people being hurt, that is not a positive. If it ended in financial fraud, that is not a positive. If it ended in someone getting new charges, that is not a positive. And so as I sit here and I go, there's, there's nothing that I could state that was beneficial from that community. And so I think everybody within it needs to take a step back and go, what are we doing? What road are we on? And why do we choose this one? And how do we back her up? Because it's gotten a little out of control. And I'm not meaning to be disrespectful by saying that. I'm just saying the community could do so much more if they would have their eyes open and look at it that way, instead of going, how dare you say this about me? If they would sit down and, okay, well, was it true? Well, yeah. Well, should it have happened? Well, no. Well, then why did you attack me? That was their first reaction. But if they would sit there and think about, oh God, is what they said true? Oh, no, I can see how people would think that. Well, shoot. Dang it, we've got to work on this. Because that's kind of how I would respond. When people fibbed on me and created that first, the first issue that I ever had to deal with, which was completely like just somebody wanting to be offended. I looked at it and said, oh, how did that happen? Oh, well, that was a misunderstanding. Misunderstanding can happen. Okay, no, it's okay. That's fine. It's a misunderstanding. Don't worry about it. Let's just move forward. So for people, when I meet people that automatically just rear end you at 99 miles an hour, I'm kind of like, start out with a love tap, honey. And then see if it's something you want to keep doing, because if you would sit there and think for 5 seconds about, does this feel good? Is this winning any people over to me? Is this doing anything good for my channel? Is it creating good energy for my community? Is it solving any of these crimes? If you're going by your mission and your vision statement, you're goose egg. You're not doing anything. So I was just perplexed. So I was just like, why are we doing this? But anyway, that's where I am. That's where I am. That's where I am. Like a hippo in the middle of the road. That's where I am, and that's where I will be until I choose to move my hind end. And I want everyone to have a good YouTube experience, and I just think it's just not worth it to come on this platform and be attacked or be negative or be put in a defensive position all the time. You should be able to address any issue, any action, any behavior. And if you notice what I do, I try to cast a wide net and address behavior and actions instead of people, because I don't want to have personal issues. I want to cast a wide net. I want to address behaviors, and then if it's something that strikes you that you need to work on, you can work on it. And if it doesn't strike you, then chuck it and go on. But there will be people that will take and self-assign that to them. And then walk up to you and go, you called me that. No, I said this behavior needed to be better, but if you want to apply it to yourself, then go home and think about it, because I can't change you. You have to change you. So if you felt bad because you own that behavior, then you have to deal with it, because I can't change you. If I've made you aware, that's great. That's great. But I can't help you through it. I can't help you process it. That's something you're going to have to do. And so I think there's a lot of people that need to process a lot of emotions. I think they need to process why they're really on YouTube. They need to process what their end goal is to being on YouTube, what their motivation is, if they're staying true to their motivation, if they're creating the same hurt that was caused to them, and why would you perpetuate something that hurt you so horribly? Why would you cast that onto other people? You know, if I've heard you cry because people have belittled and berated you, why would you turn around and do it to other people? If I've seen you cry because people have taken an offense to something you said that was completely out of context, why would you then want to take things out of context and create these misunderstandings so you can have these moments? Just, you know, and all these are logical thought patterns, which should be like key words. Sorry, I just tickled. I'm sorry. It just had one. Those should be keywords. Logical thought patterns, which should tell us, you know, those are such simplistic keywords that should tell us why people have such hard problems uh, doing them, because they're just simple key things that everybody should be able to do, and that seems to be what everybody has problems with. But anyway, don't put yourself in a hierarchy. Don't put yourself on a page where you think you have to have a reward system to be there and to earn that person's trust. Hi, Gypsy Girl. Don't put yourself in bad scenarios on YouTube. Find good people. Find people that make you feel better when you spend time with them. Find people that educate you and share their creativity and share their lust for life. And find people that if they do hit an emotion, they can you know, put it out there in a respectful manner, and you can address things and you can move on. You don't have to sit in it and stew. You don't have to sit in it and throw mud on everyone else. You know. Yeah, well, and that's one thing that really concerned me, was actually how many people responded that they had felt the same emotions within that community. But nobody was brave enough to speak up because of the hostility. And it's like, it's the same mentality as being in school with a bully. If no one ever addresses the bully's numbers are just going to keep racking up. And so you just have to address it. And I just had enough, apparently. I just can't take people that, you know, the holidays, man. The holidays should be like at least one day off where you should just like stop assigning hate and blame to somebody and just sit and be quiet so that the rest of the world can have a day off. Just give us a day off, you know. So I was unimpressed. But the number of people that have confided to me how they've been treated, shown me screenshots of private conversations between, you know, a plethora of creators, you know, not just one or two, but a plethora of creators. And it's just like, why do you keep going back? Why do you keep putting yourself in the role of a target? Why do you keep going back? And, yeah, well, some people need a total soul enema, Gypsy. I'm just telling you. That's all I did all weekend was, you know, I videotaped a little bit, friends, but mostly all I did was just enjoy my family, especially, you know, with having my friend pass away on Christmas Eve. It just put me in a more reflective mood to be like, just enjoy your loved ones. Don't, you know, think about what is really important, what is really necessary in life, what you really want to do, who you really want to be. And that's kind of what I'm all about anyway. And I don't want to be seen as a creator. I don't want to be seen as, you know, someone to follow. I don't want to be seen as, you know, as icon. I just want to be me. I just want to be authentic. I want to come on here and meet people where they are, talk to them, and enrich both of our worlds, because you all, you know, help me through things, and I try to help you through things. And there should be, you know, some kind of respect relationship here, because we spend time together, and we're not always going to agree on everything. Lord help us know what that would not be healthy. But we can at least learn to communicate effectively, and we can learn to have a respectful conversation, and we can learn how to address things. And yeah, you should feel like you're visiting a friend and have that relationship respect foundation. And you know how you are with your friends. If you have to say a really truthful, honest, and hurtful thing, you will say it in a way to where they still know you care. So, you know, when people are just shelling out the nastiness like McDonald's Big Macs, it's just, you know, they don't care. Oh, and Ed, I'm glad you're going to have a good day tomorrow. I'm glad. I'll be sending you good vibes. Everybody be sending me good vibes tomorrow. It's from starting at 4 o'clock tomorrow. From then through the rest of the evening is going to be a very difficult day for me. I'm so sick. I always think, like, in the trio we were in, we were all really best friends. I always thought with my health, I would be the first one to kick it. And so I'm processing a lot of emotions I did not ever anticipate on feeling. And so I'm having to act like remind myself of grief and grieving and actively grieving and go through and readdress issues that you would think as a counselor I would not have to address myself. But I have to treat myself, as somebody that needs guidance every once in a while, and I have to remind myself, to remember how to do this appropriately so that you don't repeat, and so, yeah. And, the funerals are for the living, they're not for the dead, so, there'll be a lot of closure, I'm sure, from that, but it's going to be difficult, just because this is something that I did not anticipate. These are emotions I never thought I'd have to process, because I really honestly, with my health, thought I would be the first one to go. I really honestly did. And, so to have to call basically my bonus brother in Texas and tell him that our best friend had passed away was just horrific. On Christmas Eve. It's a phone call you don't want to make to anyone. You just should not have to make that phone call to anyone. And, so I actually called his wife and made his wife pull him. They were visiting family, and I said, get him out the vehicle where you can have eyes on him and I can talk to him. I said, because what I have to say is not good news. And, so it was just not a phone call you want to make. And, I'm lucky. I still have a lot of friends from kindergarten even, You go up in small towns, you have friends for your whole life. And, my friend from Texas is like my brother. He moved here freshman year of high school, and he was quirky. He was not like all the other people from the country. He was a little cityfied. And he walked up to me in the cafeteria and said, can I sit in this chair? And I said, well, I reckon. And he said, you talk funny. And I said, well, you talk funny too. And we have been, we've just been best friends since then. We had, conversations about music, guitars, and we read a lot of the same books. We just kind of had the same vibe in life, and we just kind of fell into a little trio that was always together, and we would always try to have classes together because we were just, we were big cut-ups anyway, but we just always tried to be around each other as much as we could. And my father was not going to let me go to the prom. Not at all. And the friend that just passed away actually came and talked to my dad into letting me go to the prom with him, because he's like, me, I'm one of her best friends, I'm harmless, she doesn't like me that way, but this is an experience I want her to have and want to take her to prom, and if she's with me, she's safe, and let her go to prom. And so my dad let me go to prom. My dad was super strict, but my mom still had to make my dress, which was gorgeous. My mother's an extraordinary seamstress, but it had to be floor length, and it was beautiful, but it had to cover me, and it couldn't be revealing, but it was beautiful. And he took me to prom so that I could have the experience, and you just don't forget people that do things like that for you. And anytime you needed anything, I was, it was like I was trying to order groceries for him the other night and sent Priscilla the email to tell him that I'd ordered them, and it was just like, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that your uncle passed away. I think we're going to be seeing a lot of that this winter. I really think we are. I think our immune systems are all jacked, and it's just going to be a rough winter for everybody. Yeah, Priscilla, yeah. I'm feeling it today, and I wouldn't wish this on anyone. The neighbors are over there calling the dog. I'll be thinking about Jens tomorrow. Y'all be thinking about me, and maybe we'll all get through tomorrow. But it's going to be a rough day. But, life has rough days. You deal with them, and you go on. And that's just all you can do. But I feel super blessed that, if I ever go through life and I don't feel the pain of losing someone, then are you really loving to maximum capacity? So if I ever get, if I ever get to a place in life where I'm numb, I'm gonna be like, I'm doing this wrong, because you should feel, and you should feel deeply. And so at least I know when I hurt, I hurt because I loved him. So my husband's been great through all this. My husband deserves a freaking cheerleading squad. I swear, after putting up with me, he deserves everything he ever wants in life. So, but he's been really good. And he never said no. Like if I said I need to send some groceries, he's like, send them. Or if I said, on your day off, can you run me to the store to grab some specific items, he would run me by, because I have, with a vertigo, I can't drive myself lately, and he would run me by and we would drop them off. And we had hand delivered some stuff just a couple weeks ago, and then the last week he was with us, another one of our friends that we've had since kindergarten had taken him to his doctor appointment and to the store. And so I was like, okay, well, he got covered, he's got his needs. And he asked for popsicles, and I messaged him back and said, just make a list of what you need and I'll get it. He never messaged me back. And but another friend had dropped them by, so I was like, okay, he's okay. And it just turns out that whatever, he just recently had gallbladder surgery, and whatever had been wrong, it just worsened, and it was worse than even his family had anticipated. And he was just one of those people that was stoic and in private about health and things like that. And he had lost two very important people in his life this year, and that had been very hard on him. So it had been a rough year. It had been a horribly rough year. Oh, and it's you have to process through it, and it's like it takes everybody different amounts of time. So, but if you ever don't feel, if you ever go through a loss and you don't feel the loss, worry. If you ever in a position where you should feel a deep emotion, like a very deep-seated emotion, and you know it and you're not feeling it, worry and go see somebody, because that's it's a big red flag. But I will get through this. I know how to process the grief. I know how to get through it. I know how to use my support system, and I have a great husband, so we'll get through it. I just wanted to make sure that you all knew I was okay, and I wanted to check in and just address a few things. And please, again, if anybody gets hateful on my channel, don't put yourself in bad energy. Don't respond. Don't take up a fight, because I'm certainly not going to fuss with them. I don't want you to fuss with them. When you come onto YouTube, I want you to have a positive time, view things that make you creative, happy, feel your day. I don't want you to have to deal with drama, so don't ever think you have to take up for me, or to get in a mix. Don't ever stand up for me or think you have to protect me, or don't do it. Just let them talk, let them do what they need to do, and make sure that when you make YouTube connections, that you're making positive ones. And if you start to see cycles behavior, watch for the red flags that I addressed earlier, and make sure that you don't put yourself into a community that is going to potentially make you a target, because it's not pleasant and it shouldn't happen. So I'm going to try to do an educational video later this week, possibly Wednesday if the storms are not too bad. If the storms are bad, then Thursday, and then things should get back to normal. So tomorrow I'm going to be way too just emotionally taxed to deal with anything. And my son is actually, my daughter had to go back. She's making the grandparent circle while she's off from school. And but my son is going to go with me. He's going to take me and go with me, because he was really close with him too. They called him his that was their uncle. So so he's going to go with me. So I won't be alone. My husband has to work, but my son will be with me. So I won't be alone. So don't worry about me. I will get through this. Tears are, boy, they suck sometimes, but they need to be shed. So I'll be okay. Oh goodness, you'll have 2 preteen girls tomorrow. I will pray for you. I remember those days. Those were some scary days. Yeah, my son will be with me. I won't be alone. So, can't drive myself because of the stupid vertigo still. But you know, Lane's gonna take me and go with me. And he's like, I want to be there. He's like, I want to be there because you know that was his family too. So, but been a rough weekend. It's sad when other people want to make it rougher, but at the same time, manipulation is a drug. You know, what can you expect when, you know, some people just get stuck in that. And it's sad when you see such, you know, positivity at first and then it turns to doom and gloom. Because I always like to see what people are, you know, what their potential is, you know, and so it's sad when I see people that I thought were going to take something by storm and be so positive and make a change, and then they fall into something that, you know, hurt them too. And I'm just like, man, dang it. Why did you pick that ball up and throw it back? Why didn't you just go, you dropped it? You know, because if, you know, you throw the hate ball at me, I'm going to be like, you dropped this. I'm not throwing it back at you. So, well, and I will, but I'm going to have to be, for the most part, I will probably be on the back veranda welcoming people in. So I will probably be seated on the back veranda just trying to usher people in and say hello. So I'll be outside for quite a bit of it. But I don't get out much, but I'm certainly not going to miss this. Okay, here's something I do which may have been why I've gotten away with as much as I have the last 2 years, is I use the saline sinus flush like twice a day because of my deviated septum and the issues I have with my sinuses and the mastoiditis. And I use Vicks Salve as well. And then I have to have a corticosteroid spray up my nose twice because of the mastoiditis. And I think that's why I've done as well, because I every day I'm, you know, if something gets in your nose and that viral load, I empty it twice a day, so it's gone all the time. And it doesn't have a chance to set in and work through the rest of my system. So I think that may be one reason I've done as well as I have. But I certainly don't like get out much. So I know my immune system, I will have to be careful when I'm in a large crowd. So, but I will say that saline flush, I believe, is part of the reason that I have not caught. You know, I've only been sick that one time. We had the croupy crud, and it was just a sinus cold. So I think I've done fairly good, and it was the weather change that got me. I hate weather changes. I hate them. Like they hate me too, so it's mutual. But I will say that I fully recommend the saline sinus spray. It's great. Yeah, kids like to share those little sticky hands. Yeah. Yeah, no, isn't it funny that they never discuss these easy things, but they go straight to like hospitalization mandates and stuff, and it's like, hey, yo, stop. Talk about gargling with salt water. Talk about neti pots. Talk about sinus flushing. You know, it's just like, talk about these little things that you can do for, you know, like preventative and daily health care, you know, that really does help. I do a lot of steaming too. So, I don't know. Maybe I'm just weird, and it's totally possible that I've had it, but because my RSD and the mastoiditis that I had this year, I may not have noticed it. I may have had a light case and not noticed it because I was so sick for so long. And I actually looked at my husband the other day and I said it half makes me want to take one of those antibodies tests, see if I have had it and not known it. But I mean, I was really sick for the first half year of that mastoiditis. It was really bad. And I don't think I would have noticed if you had tried to sever my leg for half of that. It was just, that was that bad. Yeah, and they're saying, they're trying to, if you ever watch the news and think you need to like go hide in the corner, realize that's not what news is supposed to do, and that's probably, don't, if people want to pull you straight to an emotion, don't go to that emotion, because that's where they want you to go. They're talking a lot of fear tactics with this Omicron, and really we're getting lucky that it's more transmissible, but it's less serious. So we're getting lucky. But I've been reading up on it, and they're like, if you look at the graphs and the data behind it, there's like, you have the alpha, beta, and goes on, epsilon, all that, and then, but they're saying that the Omicron did not come from those variants, that it just came up here on its own, from like a pigeon crapped it out or something. And I'm like, no, wait just a minute, it has to have evolved from one of the but they're saying it didn't. And I'm sitting here going, I'm at this point, like, I'm questioning science, because I'm like, you all have rewritten way too much for me this year for me to trust you all. It's like, I just want a straight answer from just one person. So I'm just sitting here going, okay, but I also go over and read like news from Israel and Spain and Africa, and it's been very mild, very much like a cold. A lot of people don't even really acknowledge that they have it, so maybe we're going to get lucky, and maybe it's starting to, die down in power, and which is how normal viruses always do. This is the first virus in history that's ever gotten worse, but I question a lot of things. But it almost seems like as the less potent it gets, it's like the more they have to amp up the fear to control, and I'm sitting there going, would you just stop? So I'm in a really disgusted mood with our government right now. It's just how I am. Because fentanyl overdoses kill more people than COVID. Fentanyl overdoses, cancer, and like 3 more things added together kill way more people than COVID. But we're focused on this one little thing right here. And I'm like, ugh, And then we've got the mental health has gone to crap. Education has gone to crap. The local hierarchy and the local government systems have gone to crap. And I'm just really frustrated with the angle that's been played psychologically toward citizens of this nation. I'm just not happy with it at all. But y'all know I'm outspoken about that. But like the people that pay your bills, you should not ruin their lives on purpose. We pay their bills, and they should not be ruining our lives on purpose. And I'm just sitting here going, I'm just really upset with them. And I have to be careful, because that's something I could really get on a soapbox about and really be upset. Yeah, a lot of it is fear tactics. And, I've taught you all how to do the Johns Hopkins weekly hospitalization trends. You'll find a lot of fibby-dibbies in what they say if you go and check where they say is overridden and it's all COVID beds, and you'll find a lot of lies in what they're peddling. And these are things that you can check for yourself, and you can educate yourself on. And but now I was over Biden the other day when he was like, but you unvaccinated people, you're gonna die terrible deaths this winter. Thank you, Skippy. You have a good day too. It's just like, gee, that was necessary, I just want to be like, who put his adult diaper on this morning? You must have pinched his ass, because he's in a foul mood. It just irritated me. Because that was just like, oh no, it was just not necessary. It was absolutely not necessary. So, but that's just how I am. I'm outspoken about that, and I know. And everybody has different vibes about that, and that is just my vibe. And I'm just really unhappy about the way that we are being manhandled emotionally and psychologically for absolutely no reason. What? Yeah, I guess so. Oh Lord, that was funny. I needed that laugh. Thank you. Yeah, it's frustrating. It's frustrating, and the moment we start to see things slide back to normal, they rush us with something else. But go look, like at the say where the origin of the Omicron is, and they've got everybody else in the graph from where they mutated from, and then they've got it up here saying it just showed up out of nowhere. It had to mutate from the original or one of the variants. It can't have just bloop. It can't. And what is it? Is it zoonotics? Am I saying that right? If you read about zoonotics and how long we've potentially been passing coronaviruses back and forth with animals, this could have potentially been with us for a really long time, and just something specifically happened, gain of function, that made it worse, and that's why we're having to deal with it now. And that may be why it's so, we're you know, it's dying down rather quickly in the virus world per se. You know, for biology, it's ramping down pretty quick. Still causing a lot of damage, but it's ramping down pretty quick. But if you go and read about zoonotics and all that stuff, it's just kind of like I know, and it's just like, you know, at some point we're going to have to go back to work, and we're going to have to get our nation back together, or we're going to have to create a different way of life. And I don't think a different way of life is what our nation wants, and if they try to forcefully create a different way of life, it's not going to go well, and that's not what I want to see. So I'm just like, can we backtrack it and just try to get the train back on the tracks? Just, you know, somebody. Yes. So, okay, now I had a hysterectomy when I was 30, but I will tell you, that is one of the most aggravating feelings in the world. Everybody go read. She said it's when the pad gets twisted and the sticky side is sticking somewhere else. Yeah. It's that frustrating. Oh, Lord. Well, you know, it's like, my grandpa used to make me go and worm everything, and you would hold the wormer things in your mouth so you could grab hold of the animal because didn't want to be wormed. And so I would get wormed more than half the animals because I'd get it in my mouth off the tubes and stuff because I was wrestling, you know, a horse or whatever it was going into. And so for people to have been, you know, to be making this big issue about, you know, it's just kind of like, if you grew up on a farm, you know, you ate half a tube anyway because you probably stuck it in your mouth while you were trying to worm everything else you were worming. And you know, you need 5 arms, 5 hands to farm, you know. But then when it's actually got a human form, you know, it's made for humans too, but they choose to divert attention and say it's only this. It's like I was eating shredded wheat the other day, and David looked at me and said, "What are you eating?" And I said, "Mini horse bells." He just looked at me. And there for like a whole week, that's all I did was like equate everything I did to animals. He was just shaking his head. And I went and sprayed my corticosteroid, and he said, "What are you doing in there?" And I was like, "I'm inoculating myself for nasal allergies." And so I was just being a butthole that whole week. I was just equating everything I did to like an animalistic thing. It was just horrible. He got tired of me that week very, very quickly. But it was fun. I had fun with it. Might as well run with it, have fun with it, you know. Turn a negative into a positive. So I had fun just like equating everything I did that week with animals. And that's all I did. Well, I mean, I've stuck so many tubes in my mouth to hang on to them while I was trying to worm everything. You know, and my grandpa, when he was when we were little, he would put some on his pinky finger and put it in our mouth. And he would say we needed worms. So it's just how kids in the country were raised. I mean, I'm sure, you have to, I'm sure it wouldn't be good to take much of it, but it never killed me. I'm still kicking. But I mean, it's remarkably the same medicine. It's just in different forms for delivery. So it's kind of silly for somebody to be so terrified about it. I mean, it's just like dogs with cancer get Tramadol. Dogs with infections get antibiotics, and they're the same antibiotics. My God, my blue healer was on the same antibiotics my husband was on for Lyme disease. Because I was like, look, he got the same antibiotics as you. They, and they cost a third as much. But I mean, it's just stupid for people to have those. How can you live in a world where pet ownership is such a prominent thing and not notice those similarities? Like when your horse is colic, you give him Banamine. That's basically that's basically a Reglan for people to calm the stomach down. They just give it a different name, or it has like 3 things in it, and it's called one thing for human use and one thing for animal use. But I mean, it's all basically the same medicine. So people get their opinions in a lot about the strangest things, and I'm just like, you read the ingredients list, it's the same thing. I don't know what the problem is, but people, some people just need something to fuss about. I just don't see what there is to fuss about. I don't guess I have enough free time. Maybe I just need to square away some more free time. That might be it. Might get saucy if I square away some more free time. I don't know. But I'm tired, so I'm gonna go rest. I'm gonna try to eat something. I'm gonna try to go rest and mentally prepare for tomorrow. And I may do a community post check-in with you, but that's about it for tomorrow. It does me too. I just don't enjoy fussing. Get the bot. Who's the bot? We got another bot. But I wanted to pop on and let you know that I was alive, I survived Christmas. Thank you for all the nice things that we said on, you responded on the community post and on my video and stuff. I appreciate it. I do have a video of Oscar I'm working on. It's just going super slow because of everything else I'm trying to deal with right now. I'll try to get that posted ASAP, but it's just not of the utmost importance to me right now, so I'll deal with it when I can. But it was really nice to get all the positivity over the weekend. It really helped me deal with things, and it helped to let me know. It reminded me I always got people to talk to if I'm in having a bad day. Daniel, did you say nice things? I can't remember. Well, I'm glad you jumped in here, Daniel, before I left. I was wondering if you were hanging around. I've got to go, but I'm glad I saw you. It makes me feel better that I saw you. Thanks, everybody, for popping in and saying hi and let me process my emotions with you this evening. I think I needed it. I think I just needed to brain vomit for a little while and just get it out. And I really, I appreciate that. So if y'all need to start a channel and brain vomit back, please, I will sub. Just do it. I owe y'all so much. Oh, you're in Gatlinburg. Well, enjoy that. Watch out for the bears. Go to Anakeesta. Have you gone to Anakeesta yet? My son loved it, but he hated the ski ride up. He said he would not do that again. Terrified him. And he climbs trees for a living. He's like, it was just too much for me. They said that was really nice up there. They said it was a really fun place. So go to Anakeesta if you can. And then let us know if you liked it. My son loves it. They go every year. That's their anniversary trip every year. You didn't go up. He was terrified, but he went. But he did not like the ski thingy. What do they call them? Ski ride, the ski. I don't know what they call He did not enjoy that, and he climbs trees and is gaffed up in trees, swaying in the wind, cutting trees down, and he was like, I could not take it. It was too much. Like, it made too many mechanical sounds, and it freaked him out. He's like, when I climb a tree, it's my gaffs, my boots, my back, my legs, my rope, and, you know, he's like, if something fails, it's on me. He's like, I did not like worrying about hearing all the creaking noises, and I was like, okay. He's like, so if you go, he's like, take the alternative transportation. I was like, okay. Yeah, we'll try to get a new craft together. I've got a couple of things I'm looking at to be like projects to keep my mind off things. So I'll probably be talking to you about that. We'll try to get a couple of things rounded up to do. Since everybody was sick and everything kind of fell apart this Christmas. Oh no, I could never skydive. Oh gosh, no. Gravity and fat people do not mix. I'm never going to skydive. That would be one thing I will never choose to do. So I would be like, nope, I'm going to be traveling way too fast for comfort because I know how fat I am. Oh, Lord. I really like, I respect and appreciate people that have the ability to do those things. I am not one of them. I am not one of them. Oh, that would freak me out. But, well, I'm glad you popped in here, Daniel. I was worried about you. Enjoy the rest of your vacation. Have a good time. And, I'll be back midweek, Wednesday or Thursday, depending on. It's supposed to be some bad weather Wednesday, so if you're on the road, be careful. But I'll be back Wednesday or Thursday. I'll check in probably between, but not a lot before then. Okay, I'm going to go eat my dinner. I'm going to go give Oscar some attention because he's missing his girl because she left yesterday and he's in doggy depression mode. Oh, yeah, but you know, I just don't think, even with just being in one of those tubes where they spin you up, I am so round. I just think I would just flip constantly. I'm just, you know, I'm just round. Y'all saw the picture with me and my husband. I'm just round. I'm like a tomato on toothpicks. You know, that's my shape, tomato on toothpicks. And I don't know, I'd just be afraid I would just start spinning and it would not stop. Because there's, you know, I'm just round. I would be like a whirligig. It would just keep going around. It would not be pretty. I mean, like, plus you have like a whole bunch of people normally watching, so that would be like, that would be so bad. Oh Lord, that would be so. I would be like a whirligig in there. Oh, that would be so bad. I can see myself now. I would be the one person that would get really hurt in one of those. A teacup. Oh, that's cute. Hey, I'm getting there too, Annette. I'm like, I'm sorry. This is too scary. I'm just like, I can't do like these things where it's like you have to threaten your life, you know, to have a fun time. It's like, no, thank you. I know he's gonna be in Corbin January the 19th. I can't remember. I think he's going to be in Corbin the 19th, and that's one of his more rowdier shows. So, like, but I don't travel well, so I'm like not going to put myself in a position to go and try to be on my legs or try to, you know, deal with a rolly cart and travel, and he knows that. And I don't know. I know he's got some stuff coming up, and then he's got that new album coming out, and he's just been building his house and like staying focused on that lately. But if you go to his Corbin show, you better watch yourself because that place gets rowdy now, I'm here to tell you. That's one of the rowdier shows he does every year. So I would not go to Corbin. Just me, myself, and I wouldn't go to Corbin. But I also don't have good legs, and I don't want to be in a stampede. So, you know, it wouldn't happen. Oh, Lord, no, my husband had to get on the house this morning to put the bonnet on the stovepipe. And he was coming down the ladder, and he's like, man, I'm getting too old for this. And I said, yeah, we're getting old, honey. And, you know, you age so quickly. It's like you bat your eyes and you're middle-aged, and you're like, what the crap happened? You know, because you spend so much of your life raising kids that, you know, you don't focus on you. And so then by the time you take a breath, you're middle-aged. And, you know, and then here this weekend, you know, we've had some like car accidents and some, some people with health issues out of our graduating class that have passed away, but this is like the first like unexpected, oh my god, what the crap death that we've had in my graduating class. And it was, when you've been friends with somebody for 35 years, it just, I don't know, it just strikes you differently, and it's just kind of put me in a reflective place all weekend, and but it kind of makes you realize, hey, I'm getting older, life is moving on, I'm getting older, and it really makes you focus where you put your energy, and focus and think about the kind of person you want to be, and you start reevaluating where you put your energy and stuff like that. Which I was already doing that because of my health, but it makes you do it a little bit more than normal when you lose somebody that's so close to you. My granny is still doing really well though. My granny's still doing phenomenal. Of course, she's very old, so we anticipate losing her just any time because she's just so old. But I mean, right now she's doing really well, and it's just her body's getting feeble, and we know we won't have her much longer, but she's doing really well right now. So you just got to be thankful for the positives and ignore the negatives, and don't put your energy where it doesn't deserve to be or doesn't need to be, or don't trust it with somebody that's not going to take good care of it. That's the, always be friends or be close to people that are going to have good expectations of you, and you're going to have good expectations of them. And if someone starts to deviate from the positive personality and from being a good person, just being a decent person, always be friends with somebody that will step in and go, hey, have you noticed, we need to talk about this. Or always be with somebody that's going to be hold you accountable, and that makes life better, because you don't like run amok and then have to untangle the web you weave, and you're just accountable, and you go through life and you hold yourself accountable, and you don't have to backtrack and apologize for 5,000 years. And I don't know, I just think everybody should reevaluate where their energy goes, who they give it to, and if you're spending a lot of time with somebody that does not give you the appropriate energy back, make that decision to filter out what is not benefiting you. I never knew my grandpa. He died when I was 10 months old. He died from a brain tumor. He had one of the first spiderweb brain tumors that UT in Knoxville had ever seen. So he died when I was 10 months old. So I never knew Granny's husband. We just grew up with pictures of Papa. That's all we knew was pictures of Papa. And his name was Dolphin. And they would call him Dop, D-O-P. But his name was Dolphin. And so Granny spent, the majority of her life without Papa, and she's mourned him her entire life. And Mom wants to hang on to her. Mom wants her to live forever. And I'm like, Mom, think about her. She's made it to 90, or she can no longer walk. She's bedbound. We have to move her with one of those slings. I said she's watched all but 2 of her siblings pass away. And she's missed the love of her life for 40 years. I understand why she doesn't want to be here. I understand why when you look at her in bed, you can look at Granny and tell that she's ready to go home anytime. And Mom doesn't like that. Mom doesn't like that. I packed my suitcases look that Granny gives us sometimes. Mama does not like that. But my mom is an eternal fixer. She wants to fix everything. And I'm like, Mom, you can't fix this. You cannot fix this. There's only one way this is going to end. and it will be okay. You know, the fears that you have about what she may experience, obviously, you know, when she's passing, obviously she does not have. She's prepared. So don't, you know, I said, don't turn this into your fear, you know, and your fears of passing and your fears of death and your fears. This is Granny's time. Let Granny experience it on Granny's time and at Granny's pace and with Granny's emotions. And just trying to make sure that my mom does not amp up the tension, you know, and bless her heart, and it's just tearing her apart, and I feel really bad for her, but she will have lost both parents. Now, both of my dad's parents are gone. We lost my grandma when the kids were in about 5th, 6th grade. We lost my grandma. She had 2 bilateral knee replacements. Did great after the surgery, went to the rehab, did all the rehabilitation, was walking again, got home, and had a blood clot go to her lungs. And we lost her. It was blessed that it was quick and she didn't struggle. And we lost my dad's dad several years before that. He had cancer. Had cancer for 8 years. And it was really, when they diagnosed it, it was really bad, and they didn't anticipate him living very long. And we told him we would keep the farm and the chicken houses working as long as he was alive, so he could get out and, like, you know, piddle around. And he lived for 8 more years. And I'm just like, he was determined to make us work that farm for decades. He was just determined. But he went back after like 4 years of battling cancer. He went back and his scan was completely clean. They couldn't find it. But what actually did him in was he was so old that the chemo just did his body in, and he just passed away. He was just too frail, and his immune system was too far gone. So Granny's my last grandparent I have left, and I just see it in her eyes. She's lived her life. She's met all her milestones. She's met her goals, and she's ready to go. And you can see it in her eyes. And I know my mother is horribly terrified about it, and I will, when I'm in that position, I will be too. But the role I have to play is, you know, to help prepare my mom and to remind her to breathe, you know. And I remind her all the time. She gets really amped up. She's worried that Granny will experience pain when she's passing. And I'm like, Mom, you know, other than birth, death is the second most natural thing you'll do in your life. You know, so applying a lot of the fear around it, you know, is just our way of showing our you know, how we're not at ease with dealing with the topic. So I try to talk her through it and remind her. Well, Gypsy, you're family here now, so you're honorary member of the family. Everybody here is, basically. Y'all are just honorary members of the family. So don't think you're alone. But she's the last of my grandparents I have left, and she was mischievous, and she was sweet, and she was funny, and I would tell my mother I was sick in kindergarten so I could stay with my granny and pick beans. I loved my granny. But I'm just aware that she's ready to, you know, to be elsewhere, and I have to respect that. And I keep saying, okay. Okay, so I'm just going to role model some behavior here. Okay, Sharon's popped into the chat. Sharon, if you listened to my entire video, you would have heard me say that there are some really great channels, and then there's some really not great channels. And everybody's lists are different. Some people have really good channels, and some people have really bad channels, and people interpret those, and everybody's lists are different. The one thing I have ran in on in the true crime community is that the energy tends to be focused on attack mode between creators more than dealing with true crime or trying to deal with caseloads or researching. And so when I deal with behaviors and actions, I'm dealing with behaviors and actions. And I'm not pinpointing blame to any one person. This behaviors and actions is across numerous creators in the true crime community, and I just was not happy with the vibe. I'm not happy with wondering if I'm going to be a target from one day to the other. And is my decision to speak my piece. And I did send you a message on Instagram. If you would check your messages, you would see I sent you a message on Instagram because I did not want you to infer something incorrectly. But at the same time, I'm not in control of you inferring things incorrectly. And what I say is what I need to say, and what I feel, and it's not always directed at, one person. It's actually my little rant the other night was directed at about 20 creators that I'm really irritated with. But at the same time, when I'm just trying to deal with behaviors and actions, I'm labeling behaviors and actions. And if somebody wants to take those and say, oh, I think I've done that and she's mad at me, I can't control that. If you think you've done that, then think if you've done it, and if you've done it, correct it so that nobody has to feel that again. But for me, I'm more irritated with like the attack mode that we've had on the subs and the speed bumps that we always hit with people. And it's like every week someone else is a target, and it was just, there was no focus. There was no focus, function, and it was just disrupting my energy and my health, to be quite honest. And it's like, it's not necessary. If I have a viewpoint or a perspective, it doesn't mean I don't like you. It doesn't mean I'm mad at you. It doesn't mean it's pointed at you. But you're not allowed to speak in this community without somebody coming at you and bum rushing you and saying, oh, you're mad at me. Well, F you, you B. And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. I have an issue with this behavior and this action. And I'm allowed to do that, and I'm allowed to address it. And I'm trying to do it in a polite, logical manner. And I'm trying to do it in an educational manner. But I'm also trying to make an emotional plea, because everybody can wake up tomorrow and change their ways and be better people. And it's very important that I stress that, because there's some really powerful, great things that can happen in a community if they get it right. But it's not going right. And I have to address that, because I see people being placed in mentally, they're going to hurt themselves if they continue down this path. They're going to drive people to hurt themselves. And I can't be okay with that. Not as someone that's been a mental health practitioner, not as someone that has dealt with people that have been suicidal, not as someone who deals with and has dealt with those behaviors that have caused harm and grief, for so many people. I can't be okay with that. And I can't be okay being part of a community that every time I have a perspective, I'm bum rushed because everybody wants to apply it. They want to take it like a little name tag and slap it on and then go, you're mad at me. And I'm like, no, I'm dealing with behaviors and actions. And if you can't tell the difference between behaviors and actions to somebody saying your name and applying it directly to you, I can't fix that. But I certainly know that I don't want to be here again. So I'm just going my merry way. And I wish you the best. You have a really powerful chat community. You have people that are doing really great work with trauma and discussing their trauma and resolving their trauma, and I wish you the best. I just do not like being in this position where I feel like somebody's waiting to pounce on me like a mountain lion in a tree. And I just certainly cannot sit here and be okay with the practice of dive bombing and targeting their subs. I can't do it. Just mentally and emotionally, I can't do it. And I can't sit here and wonder if I'm going to say a word that's going to tick somebody off and they're going to attack me for 2 weeks, or they're going to stick their flying monkeys on me for 2 weeks. It's not beneficial. It's not beneficial. And everything that the true crime community has tried to do since I've been trying to watch and be a part of it has ended in a negative. It's ended in a negative. So I can't see any positive forward momentum. So, when we take up money, but then there's financial fraud, that's not a positive. When we create billboards, to get the word out, but then we lose the billboard because there's been financial fraud, that's not a positive. When people go visit the place to keep the story alive, but then they get new charges for trespassing, that's not a positive. And then you've got the inner turmoil, and that's just not something that it's just not something I can sit here and say I'm okay with and something I want to be part of. And that's just how I am. It's my decision as an adult to make. And I have absolutely no ill will towards you, none whatsoever. I just do not like the vibe of the community. I don't like the negatives I've seen. I don't like the treatment of other people. And so I'm just not going to put my energy there anymore. And I mean, I can explain it as graciously as I can try to, but if you want to take offense to it, I can't stop you from doing that. But just know that it was not a single creator. It was just the overall general vibe of the entire community, and I cannot sit here and be part of it and say I'm okay with it when I know what it's costing people. It's costing people, you know, their stability emotionally. It's costing people a lot of harm. And, you know, and then the people that are getting hurt are turning around hurting other people. And, you know, for several weeks I've said this is going to get better. This is going to be the last speed bump. We're going to learn a lesson. We're going to move forward. And if I find myself having to say that many times, it's not moving forward. We're not going to learn lessons, and it's not going to get any better. And I'm just going to go another way. And I'm just going to be me and stick with my little family that I have here and focus on the little things that I like to do. And but you know, everyone's in control of their own behavior and their own application of whatever they want to apply to themselves, but everybody can get up tomorrow and be a better form of themselves, be a better version of themselves, and do better and be better. And I think that if they can get it turned around, that there's powerful things that could happen with that community, but I'm just not going to be able to be part of it. And that's just kind of where I am. No, Sharon, it's not about you. I mean, I can't stress this any more than I am, but if you want to take it and apply it to you, I can't stop you from applying it. So if you're, just make me a promise that if you're going to take this personally, if you're just bound and determined to take this personally, like the last time you took it personally and it was not about you, and, you know, I thought that maybe we wouldn't have to do this again, but if every time I say anything, if you're going to take it personal, I can't stop you from doing that. And it seems like that is going to be something that's going to be repeated if I stay in this loop, and I'm not going to stay in this loop. But if you want to apply it and take it personally, I can't stop you from doing that. But I would say, please, if you're going to take it personally, sit down and realize that you're doing a lot of what you did not like being done to you when it started. You remember how you were attacked and everybody would just jump in your lives and just pick you to pieces, and, you know, and we all felt so bad for you, and I don't want to be in that. I don't want to be part of that. I don't want to perpetuate that, and I don't want to have to deal with that. And so I'm just not going to be part of the community, because I think the entire community is just kind of toxic right now. And, you know, I mean, I can't make you believe what I'm saying. You're going to take it and apply it however you want to. But I wish you would sit down and just kind of reflect on what has happened, and all these speed bumps and all these targets with the subs and all this nastiness back and forth and all the financial crap. And I mean, it's just like you have to think when you're in a group, in a community that's supposed to be fighting the evils of the world to help understand people and the criminal mindset and the trafficking, so that we can fight the evil that is, you know, causing these problems. But all we do is perpetuate evil in the community, and we just cycle through nastiness, and it's just, I can't do that. And I'm certainly tried to speak my piece and make my placement known and say it in the most gracious way possible. But I can't absorb it for you, and I can't process it for you, and you know, I hope at one point you come to an understanding, but I certainly am not in control of it. So I don't know what you want me to do or take fault for or have ownership for, because the only thing I can take ownership for is how I feel and what I've seen going on, and how it struck me, and how I process it, and I dealt with it. And I dealt with the behaviors and the actions that I did not like, because they're coming from multiple avenues. So, and for me, I'm going to deal with behaviors and actions. I'm not going to create a personal pity attack. Because I think if people, you know, as adults, were old enough to know, how, okay, behaviors and actions, okay, I did that. Okay, I need to process that. I need to deal with that. So everybody can take with, you know, what they need. If they feel like they need ownership of what I was speaking about, that's fine. If they don't, they can check it and go on. But I can't process this for you, but I will tell you that if you keep focusing on people's words and applying them to yourself, you are going to be a very lonely person in that community, and you don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. Please do not follow the lead of the other creators, because you have a heart where you can do a lot of good. But here lately, it's not been doing a lot of good. And I've just been like, the whole community has just been toxic. And everybody's been in drama, and I've dealt with too much to want to deal with it anymore. You know, I had a badge for 10 years, and I was stuck in other people's shit, and I don't want to be there now. So I'm wiping my shoes off and walking away. And if that bothers you, that's on you, because it's my decision and I made it. So I'm not sure what the point of asking another adult why they need to speak their words or have their emotions. I'm not sure why it's necessary to go to somebody else's YouTube page and ask them why they need to have their words, their emotions, and their beliefs in their statements. Because I'm an adult and I'm allowed to have whatever the hell I want. But that is, you know, that's a lot of why I don't want to be in this community, because you're looking over your shoulder all the time. I'm just not up for that. Just not up for that at all. I wish the community well. I hope it turns out good. I hope it pulls its nose out of the ditch and it does great things. But I just will not be part of it. And that's just a decision I personally have to make. It doesn't reflect on anybody but me. But I certainly cannot make other people deal with it. That's on them. So that's where I am. Yeah. So that's where I am. But y'all have a good day, and you know, we had Christmas over the weekend, then I had a death on Christmas Eve, but it's more important that I deal with somebody else's emotions. You know, I'm not up for this. I'm, you know, 5 minutes of sleuthing skills would tell you that I had a very, very close person pass away this weekend. And that nitpicking session could have waited maybe another week, but you know, whatever. I will graciously state my opinion and go on, but I'm no longer part of that community. So everybody have a lovely week. Please send me good vibes tomorrow as I deal with this funeral. Be kind to each other. Take your energy back from places it doesn't need to be. Make sure that you have a respect boundary with people, even creators on YouTube. Make sure that the expectations go both ways, and make sure that you are the best version of you that you can be. And then if you have to have an emotional response, deal with behaviors and actions, and don't create a personal picking party and leave people alone. But I have more important things to grieve right now than somebody's ego, so I'm going to go and think about my lovely friend. And I will be back Wednesday or Thursday. Yeah. Appreciate the prayers in advance, because I'm going to need them tomorrow. Thank you. Bye, guys.